Stephen Frost is a Catholic priest and a renowned religious scholar.
I think the idea of a state that exists after death that is not the ultimate experience quite yet, probably, well, I can't say it's as old as human consciousness, but certainly is right there in the beginning.
But how can we know that such a place exists? Catholics know because they have faith, but others say they know because they've been there.
When I floated away from my body, I looked down. I don't mean to insinuate that I still had a body and had eyes, but I could see everything around me. I could see that there was a woman who was crying, and as I got higher, I see in the distance there is something that I am going towards. I come up to it, and as I approach it, the shapes become more and more distinct.
Colleen Monahan believes that she had reached the very threshold of an afterlife. The vision occurred while she was exploring her past lives under hypnosis.
I could see that it was a person who was very tall and dressed in a robe, rather like a monk. And as I got even closer, probably as far as you and I are away right now, about 2 feet, I realized that this person was was waiting for me.
Richard Wood is a real estate developer in Northern California. He does not know Colleen, but their recollections of a waiting room for the soul are almost identical.
As I was pulling back from the body that I had just left, I experienced coming into this bright whiteness. And as it felt like, as I turned around, there was my spirit guide to meet me at that point.
Colleen and Richard are both clients of Dr. Michael Newton, a noted hypnotherapist and past life researcher.
A spirit guide is an individual entity who is very, very old and who is the first intelligent being to meet people after death.
Dr. Newton lives in Grass Valley, California. His book, Journey of Souls, contains case studies that he's compiled over the past 10 years.
I have learned that when we speak of a spirit guide, we are talking about a higher entity, which is a teacher.
And so he led me into a ballroom. A huge ballroom filled with hundreds and hundreds of people. All of whom had gathered for a party. And every single one of them in a good mood, jolly, happy to see me. Hi, how are you? Where have you been? It's good to see you back.
After my spirit guide Arnon met me, we went back to a teaching pod, which is a gathering or a group of other spirits that I'm a member of.
According to Dr. Newton, the teaching pod that Wood describes is a common thread among those who claim to have experienced this prelude to the afterlife.
Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a room without anything in it. A room without walls. I know you don't want to do this, but it's true, and this is what this place looked like.
So what goes on in these classrooms is essentially lesson learning. They review the lives just lived and how they compare to lives that they have lived before, and lives which are to be lived in the future in terms of what still needs to be learned.
This is a place that souls go to be restored, and that is exactly what we need after living.
The ultimate goal of a soul is to really stop reincarnating, because they have in fact learned all the lessons that they were intended to learn. They don't need physical bodies anymore to achieve this information.
Dr. Newton has come to believe that his clients must serve as messengers for the afterlife, and their message is one of hope and renewal.
The most startling or incredible thing that I learned from my research has to be the fact that there is a God.
This experience has made me fall in love with my own life, because I know who I am, and I know that you are just as important and complex and wonderful as I am.
It's allowing me to see for myself in my own life that there's no death fear for me as there was previously.
I think the important thing is that we create these symbolic sort of dramas ourselves, whether they're dream experience or vision experience or different types of poetic experience that takes us into touch with things that are eternal.
When I walk through an old cemetery like this, I think of these departed souls, and it's comforting now, in light of all of the years of research I've spent, to know what really happened to them and that they are happy, and many of them have gone on to new lives.